the total amount that I have. It is not this 50,000 is all going to be taxed as my income. Okay? So maybe 1 year I earn 50,000, but it's not all 50,000 is being taxed. So what are some things that don't need or let me don't get taxed one? There are some from here I will minus away reliefs. So this name is important. Relief. It is to relieve me from being taxed. So this relief, there may be parents, like I'm living with my parents, I have to pay for my parents. So a part of my income, government give chance. Relief is like giving chance. So that part don't need to be taxed. Then it can be for if I give money to charity, then that part that I give to charity, also government give chance. All these don't need to be taxed. So there are some other relief. Maybe you have young kids and you are still working. So all these are relief. Then from the relief, I minus away from my gross income already. Then maybe all my chargeable or taxable income is a lesser amount than the whole income that I earn. Tariq, Hassan, listen. Listening is more important. Okay? So relief are what that is not being taxed out of my total income. Then my taxable income is called chargeable income or taxable income. Then out of this 40,000 in Singapore, the more money you earn, the more money, higher percentage you are being taxed. So maybe, let's say for the first 20,000, maybe no tax. Because you already earn very little. So the government also give chance. First 20,000, you don't even tax. Then from your 20,000 to maybe 30,000. Okay, maybe they tax you 2% of your income. This one is some numbers that I anyhow give. So the actual number may be different. Then from your 30,000 to 50,000, they may tax you a higher percentage because we are expecting, the more money you earn, the richer you are, the more you pay as tax, then you can help the poorer people in the country. Okay? So in most countries, not just Singapore, the income tax goes by like that one. The more you earn, you go into a higher earning bracket, then you pay more money as income tax. Okay? So the whole story is like that. That is why later when you see the question, so let us go and look at question 12. That is why there is this table. Then, just now, what I tell you is to help you understand this table better. So now, if we go and look at this table, we first look at just the first box. Later, we slowly go through box by box. We first go through these first two rows first. Okay? There is a chargeable income. So this one is they minus away the relief already. So if you have a chargeable income, 20,000, then the first 20,000 you are not being taxed. So if you earn 10,000 1 year, are you being taxed?
Yes.
How much percent? We are just looking at this table. If you earn 10,000, you fall under the first 20,000. So you are not being taxed. Serious. So from earning $0 to earning 19,000, 18,000, you all don't need to pay tax. So altogether you pay 0 tax. Gross tax payable means the total amount of tax that you pay is 0. Okay? Then if you earn $20,500, your first 20,000 is not being taxed, but the $500 will fall under this next 10,000. So this $500 will be taxed at 2%. Okay? This 200 is if you earn 30,000. Then your whole 10,000 after your 20,000 is being taxed at 2% and you pay $200. So this number is not that important for now. Okay? But you need to understand these two boxes more carefully. Okay? So if I earn 25,000, how much tax or how much of my income has to be taxed? Think a bit. If I earn 25,000, then out of my 25,000, the first 20,000 will fall under this first line. First 20,000. And this first 20,000, no tax. But I earn 25,000. I earn 25,000. So after my first 20,000, I still have 5,000. And this 5,000 will fall under here. Next 10,000. So this $5,000 is being taxed at 2%. I must take 5,000 multiplied by 2%, then I will know how much tax altogether I have to pay. Okay? If I earn more than 30,000, then I don't need the first box. I will be looking at the second box. If I earn between 30 to 40,000, because they tell me out of my money that I earn between 30 to 40, the first 30,000, we don't need to count the rate. It is $200. Okay? So my first 30,000 is this 200. Then if I earn 40,000, first 30,000 I pay this 200. The next 10,000 I pay at 3.5%. This is what this table is talking about. Okay? So you must first know you go to which rows to find how much tax you pay. So when we look at the part A, if my chargeable income is 42,000, this is first row, this is second row, this is third row. So I earn 42,000. Which row should I go to look for my tax? Second row is 30,000 to 40,000. So it is capped at 40,000. But right now I am earning 42,000. So I must go to the next one already. 42 falls under 40. This one will be 40 to 80. Okay? So from 40,000 to 80,000, I will have to look at this row. Okay? So this is the first step that we have to do. Identify which part of the table will give us our answer for this question. So 42,000 falls under here. Because it is more than 40, but it is less than 80. So it falls under here. This center bracket, this center row here. 42,000 is somewhere in between here. It is out of here because this one is from 30 to 40. This one is from 0 to 30. Okay? I believe it is confusing when you don't know anything, try to understand what is going on. There are different charges when you earn different amount of money. So these different rows are telling you when you fall under which bracket, you pay how you calculate your taxes. So first, 42,000 actually falls in between here. So we have to look at this. And out of this 42,000, the first 40,000 is being taxed $550. Okay? So for A part 1, there are two portions. Out of your 42,000, your 40,000 is being taxed $550. Okay? 42,000, you have the first 40,000 and you have the next $2,000. Then this first 40,000 from this box here, first 40,000, you don't need to care the percentage. They just tell you your first 40,000 is 550 already, your tax. Okay? So your tax for the first 40,000 is 550. Then for the next $2,000, it falls under next 40,000. Your 2,000 falls here, and this $2,000 is being taxed 7%. Okay? So for the $2,000, we have to find 7% of $2,000. This $2,000 is being taxed, and it is being taxed at 7%. This is the story. Okay, so for the $2,000, it is actually 140. The tax that you have to pay is 140. 7% of $2,000. So if I add them together, this is the total amount I pay for my 42,000. 550 plus 140. $690. Okay, so I must know where I go to look for the information I need. After I go to the correct box, then from there, first 40,000 they tell me the tax is 550. Then the next 2,000 is being taxed at 7%. So 7% of this is 140. Then the total tax I pay for this 42,000 is this plus this. Okay? I think not easy. Maybe you're smart, then you all can get it faster. But maybe you all need a little bit of time go and digest this whole table. Okay, so to me this question is actually very difficult. Okay? Okay, so if we go on to part 2, A part 2. This time round, the chargeable income is 155,500. Again, it is depending, or it is waiting for me to go and find which column should I be using. the more money I earn, the lower the column I go. So this one, the next two rows is from 80,000 to plus another 40,000. So if my income fall under 80,000 to 120,000, I will look for it here. Okay? First 120,000. So this one or above this is until 120,000. So now my chargeable income is more than 120,000. So I have to go to the last box already. This last box will cover 120,000 until 160,000. 120,000 plus another 40,000. So it will cover until 160,000. So where I am charged 155,500, it falls in between here. So I must use this last box over here. Then out of my $155,500, the first 120,000 and then the next 35,500. They are charged differently at different rates. The first 120,000, they tell me already, it is 7,950. Then I have to find this next part. And this next part is being taxed at 15%. Okay? So I have to find 15% of 3,550. Then the total amount will be why disappeared? Hey, really that everything disappeared. Must be your Apple Pencil. You hack the Apple Pencils, then it erase everything. Okay. But after going through it 2 times, hopefully you all are able to go and find where am I looking for. Okay? So $155,500, it falls under the last bracket. Because the last bracket here is for 120,000 to 160,000. Okay? So we should be looking at this last bracket for our part 2. Then out of this 155,500, the first 120,000 is, this is the tax already. You don't need to calculate, it is here. Okay? Then after the first 120,000, the next, we take 155,500 minus 120,000, we are left with 35,500. Then the 35,500 is being taxed at 15%. So your 15% times 35,500, get the next part of the tax. Then you add the 2 portions together. That is how we get the total tax. Okay, Ken? before we go to part B, there are even more complicating information here. For you to fully understand this table, hey, listen, pencil. The first 20,000, no tax. That's why this number here is 0. The next 10,000 is being taxed 2%. So this number here came from 2% of 10,000. That's why this one is 200. So for the first 30,000, why they don't give us percentage, why they straight away put 200 here is because the first 30,000 is already calculated here already in the first box. First 30,000, first 20,000 no tax. The 10,000 is being taxed 2%. That's why if the $10,000 is being taxed 2%, it costs 200. That's why this number here is actually adding these two numbers. You add these two numbers, you get 200 already. Then if you are earning $40,000, the first $30,000 don't need to calculate because it is from here, $200. The next $10,000 is being charged at 3.5%. 3.5% of 10,000 is 350. So if I earn 40,000 or more, this 40,000, the total tax is given by this one plus this one already. That's why the first 40,000 is this plus this, and they put here already. So anything more than 40,000, the first 40,000 is here. It came from this box over here already. Similarly, the next 40,000 charged at 7%, it will give us this amount. The whole 40,000. That's why this one plus this one give us this one. This one plus this one give us this one. Okay? So the first 120,000 actually has been calculated with all these boxes, and it is being added and put here already. So you don't need to go through everything. By right, if they never give you this table, then you may have to go and break down. They don't give you this last column. Then they just give you like that, and you have to go and calculate 155,000 is how much. Then you have to go and see first 20,000 no charge, next 10,000 charge at 2%, come out with how much. Then the next 10,000 come out with how much. 40,000 multiply already, come out with how much. Then the next 40,000 come out with how much. Then finally the last one is 35,500 at this rate. Then after that you add in all the portions together. Okay? If they want to make the question very tedious, but this one they give you this one. So we can go to the last box, we can see already. First 120,000 here. Then just multiply using this one. Part A, I think understanding the table is already quite difficult. Then part B, even more difficult. It is your reverse percentage. Pascal, knocked out by the part A. Knocked out by the aeroplane. Part B, they give you what is the chargeable tax or the tax, gross tax that is being paid. Then they want you to work backwards. How much chargeable income will come out with this income tax? So we have to look at this last column over here and see this 480. Where is the possible income? Okay, so is it between 20,000 to 30,000? It is not, because I'm already paying $480 of tax. If I earn until 30,000, the max that I pay is only 200. Okay? So I have to go in and see. Do I earn more than 40,000? If I earn 40,000, I already pay 550. But now I am only paying 480. That means my income is more than 30,000, because if 30,000 I only pay 200. And it is less than 40,000. Because if 40,000 I already pay 550, but I'm only paying 480. Meaning to say, my income will fall under this second box. And how much exactly? The first 30,000 I paid 200 already. So out of the $480 that I pay for tax, the first 200